again. So today we're going to be having a look at the giant onions. We're going to be mixing up some feed for the ones in the ATAMI mix. We're also going to be testing the soil in both mixes, my own and in the ATAMI's. We're going to be testing that for the electrical conductivity using an TDS pen. It'll also show parts per million and just give us a rough idea as to what the levels of feed are in the ATAMI mix. So as you can see, since the last update I just brought these outside and they've been out in a polytunnel since. Yes, it's hit quite low temperatures, but they seem to be doing okay. The 4 in the front, got one over here. So the 4 in the front are Myix and the 4 in the back are the ATAMI, and they seem to be doing okay, but mine seems to be a little bit further along. There's still some of this leaf curl action going on, so we're going to have a look at the levels of feed in the soils anyway and see what the differences are between them. All these have had since potting them on last time is rainwater. Right then, so we'll start off with one of my ones, and all I'm going to be doing, popping it in a tray, and I'm going to run a litre of water through it, collect that and test it. But first of all, we'll just test the water first, see what that's reading, get that written down and see what it tests for afterwards. Right, so I knew this little whiteboard would come in handy at one point. So we've got rainwater, Myix and ATAMI. We'll just test this now in just the rainwater. So the EC is 0.034. Now I have tested the tap water, so that is a 240. If we switch it over, we can check ppm. That is 17. Right, so all I'm going to do now is slowly pour a litre of water through this and let it all run on the bottom of the pot. And this should run through all the compost by pouring it on slowly like this. And hopefully give us an accurate reading. If I just poured it all in one area, it would only run through the one area, but by dispersing it all over the top of the medium, it's running through it all. So just leave that sit there for a minute. Right, so I've just lifted that so it's not sat in the water, but you can see it's just dripping through. So I'll leave that sit for 5 minutes and come back and do the other one. Right, so whilst that one's dripping through, I'm going to pick up one of the ATAMI ones. By the looks of it, I'd say these do need a feed, but this one's one with more of the wrinkles on the leaf, so it'll be interesting to see what's going on with that. We've got another litre of water. Again, this is just rainwater. Just going to pour it evenly around the pot. Just leave that sit for 5 minutes. That's still dripping quite a bit, so we'll come back to these in 5 minutes time and see what they're reading at. Right, so it's been a few minutes. This one's pretty much stopped dripping now, so we'll get that collected and test that and give this one another minute. So I'm just going to pop that back on there for now. Pour this back into the jug. So putting 2 litre in there, we've ended up with about 350 ml come back out of the pot. So before we poured it in the pot, it was at an EC of 34, and that is now at 2124. So as you can see, there's no need for me to feed mine, but I did add some fish blood and bone and some well rotted manure in the bottom of that. Just give that a quick rinse in some clean water. Right, so we know the quite high level of feed in there. It's about right for what the plant will need. So I'm quite happy now to know that I can just give my 4 a good water in and they should be okay. So pop this one back over there. Just going to rinse this out. So there's no contaminants in there. Thought we'd had less in that one. So in that one we've got 550 millilitres. Come back out the pot. PBC of that is 1,128. So bearing in mind they have only had rainwater I think twice since I repotted them, so some of that nutrients would have washed out. So they must have already been about 2,000 PBC of nutrients in them pots. So by feeding straight away, I'm adding another 1,000, which is bringing it up to 3,500, which the plants won't uptake any of the nutrients at that level. So if you are using the ATAMI High Precocicity Cocos with a light nutrient base, I would recommend running a bit of water through it first. Maybe the first 2 feeds just use water and then start adding the feed. But now that that's at a lower level, I'll give them 1 more water in and then I'll be quite happy to give them a feed. I'll just run 2 litres through the other 3 today and do the same on mine and leave them at that. So it'll probably be next week when we need to mix up the feed, and I'll do another complete video on that. I am also going to be using the ATAMI stuff for a couple of the tomatoes. I am keeping everything in pots. I'm not telling anyone to go out and buy this stuff. I am testing it, but it is if you want to use it. I've got high hopes for it with tomato plants. I just think it's a bit rich for the feed to start the onions off, but they seem to be picking up okay. They're catching up, and we'll keep an eye on them throughout the growing season and see how they do. Just really quickly before we go, I've filled this pot up with just the high precocicity cocos, and I've ran quite a bit of water through it. Well, about just under a litre of water through it, and I've let it sit in here for 5-10 minutes, and we'll just get a reading of what comes out of the high precocicity cocos straight out the bag. So just try pouring this into the jug without spilling it. Clean before anything. And if you can see that there, that's coming out at 1,338. And that's just first run through. Obviously it's sat in there and soaked up for a minute, but you can imagine by adding feed straight to this, you're boosting it way off the scale. So all these now have just had a litre of rainwater, and in a couple of days time I'll give the 4 at the back a mix of the ATAMI fertiliser. But I'll do another video on that, on mixing them. Right then guys, so that's going to be it for this one today. If you've enjoyed this video, please don't forget to subscribe, drop me a comment below, and remember to hit that like button. Bye for now.